A lot about, well, I don't necessarily talk a lot about Minecraft, but it is definitely an interest that I got into a while ago. Um, had played mostly on multiplayer servers, uh, with, well, some friends. As I didn't find the prospect of a single player world very appealing. Like, I got that you were able to, like, make your own stuff and manipulate the world, but I don't know, that's always been a social thing for me. But this is a creative world that I started basically because we kept switching maps, and I'm in part reason for this, but kept switching through maps, and while I would learn a lot and build different things on all of them, uh, they're multiplayer maps, and I don't have them unless they're live on the server. you know, I don't actually have access to all my notes and work. And I started with the idea of recording to like solve all that, but um well, due to the struggles with mental illness and all that, just some days I talking is too much effort. Um Even if I can find it within me to like actually get on and place a few blocks or shoot some bugs and bots in other games, you know. But yeah, so I had a grand idea that I want to implement someday. And I thought, I could just start building that in creative. So I went through a bunch of seeds until I found this one. And I think most people would say starting in a desert or Badlands is like the worst way to start a Minecraft game. Personally, desert just means village to me, which is the most important thing for what I like to do, usually. Um, and Badlands are, they're full of mines. They're like an adventure zone. And gold is underrated by many players, I think. I think it has a lot of uses, or at least I use it a lot. So, yeah, so I decided, so like the very first thing I needed to do when I got here was what I always do is look up the seed and locate the town, or since I've got this world in creative mode, just use the command backslash locate. Found it. Got the coordinates, and I decided to make another portal because one of the things I'm not going to do in this world right now is like play in it a lot as survival. I don't want to explore most of it. I'm going to use portals to like get me to coordinates and then just or like teleport directly there and then create a portal and then build a network in the nether that slowly leads to all the different places I know I have to go. And that way, also, if I can ever get to the point where I've saved this map and I can load it on a server for people to play with, uh, well, even though I've designed it, I won't know everything about it. Like, and there's a great deal that is like between points A and B that are actually discovered. So, like, I think the town this portal leads to is roughly that way. And this is actually spawn. This is at spawn. Like right down there is world spawn. And there's a portal here, and the idea will be like you can spread wherever you want, but this goes somewhere. And this is what I'm building. Kitty's Dungeon. Muster of the Maze. That's the aim. And you know what? I'll go ahead and read these out and just make sure they're all proofread. Welcome to the Maze of Portals. There are some rules to be aware of, but they are written on signs like this and to the left. Turn to the left. The first rule is that info will often be strung out signs in a row and sometimes in separate spots in rooms next to each other. The second rule is to respect the build and not break blocks. The maze can be hard, but it has an answer to every problem you see. It's worth noting that mobs spawn 24 to 128 blocks away from the player. Creeper incidents will happen, just let us know to fix. Basically, I acknowledge that people will, like, the map is going to get destroyed. Um, but the idea is that this is kind of like a map that will get reloaded and restarted occasionally. Or, depending on events and what has happened, might even save a separate copy of it. Um, and like kind of venture an alternate timeline. Like, I would love to do a long-term adventure with a bunch of other Minecraft players that we all kind of collaboratively build on as like a shared world narrative, and accepting the limitations of the tools within the game and what we can kind of do within vanilla, and maybe mods down the road. So, a YouTube SMP. I've seen I've seen other groups do it. Some of my favorite content to consume is people that have done that kind of stuff and put it online, and it looks fun. With my background of playing in role playing games and live action role playing games, this just seems like the next evolution. And I also don't like fantasy stuff except when it's kind of simple, like Minecraft. There's a lot of over complexity that gets added on when like you have very simple things that make everything cool. Nice, the doorway was actually open. So yeah, this maze also contains a bunch of mechanisms, or it will. And right now, it's like, what are we doing here? I believe the way to open this is to place a red torch right here. I think that's really the only way you can get that open right now, or is to build like another trigger. And yeah, there's gonna be like loot boxes and stuff. So now if I take one of these, should be doing this in survival mode if I'm gonna be bothering. That's how you would get through, and then, well, problem there. But that's something that will be figured out. The idea was originally, I know it was like a redstone torch, and then you'd get in here, and you'd have the thing, and maybe a lever would work. Maybe a lever's fine. Uh, remember. Dun, dun, dun. Might be useful later on. So yeah, because I want to encourage, behavior of like that kind of thing. I mean, they can leave it open, and that's not a big deal. Where can I? Nope. Oh, that is rough. Should absolutely be able to place those on a facing. Um, I disapprove, Mojang. Get on that. Should be able to face the face blocks. Like otherwise, what's kind of the point? Um, Man, that purple looked dashing. Ooh, chiseled copper, maybe. See, one of the design choices that I'm making here is like, am I going to keep things consistent? Because if I make this here, chiseled copper, then I'm going to start signaling that chiseled copper is an obvious spot to try putting redstone torches and things like that to activate things, which is good, I think. But, and there's no disadvantage to it, but is it the choice I want to make? Because I could use something else that's like obnoxious. Oh, there's so many versions of chiseled copper too. And the wax variants as well. I like the idea of raw copper, actually, putting that in. Because then it'll slowly green out and people will know how long it's been, you know, by aging effects. Yeah, let's stick with that. These, on the other hand, don't think that's ever going to get used. Um, I keep talking about this door. This door has a mechanism. It's a pretty simple mechanism. I will show you the pieces over here. Like, this is more or less my testing for circuits and all that. So we have armor stand on redstone ore block being looked at by an observer. Observer powering copper bulb. Copper bulb has a comparator leading into a redstone lamp because that's what I wanted. Uh that part's not necessary. Like this is basically like my triggering circuit for to make doors randomly open and close between each other. You can see the mechanism like pretty easy open here. This is not the most efficient way to do it, but it is pretty easy way to see like what's happening. And it's not it's a fairly slim design. Oh yeah, see there it just switched over. You I like the idea of mazes that change themselves over time because if you don't have that option, um, they get people can learn them. They get kind of stale and all that. And I didn't want to just put a maze in here, so but I did want at least one more or less easy path all the way through, and that's what this door being open is. Like you get out here and then you just kind of run along, you know. And then this is like the easiest path to the next whatchamacallit, to the next portal. As I said before, like whenever I play, the most important thing to me is towns. And that's where this is. This town. And I'm going to leave again because I'm not actually ready to deal with this. But yeah. So, that's what I'm working on right now in Minecraft. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording this segment and probably get back to working on things. But that's it so far. I might do explanations of all these. Like This is the loot box. That's how it works. It's just a trap chest with a dispenser next to it, and every time you open it, you know, new thing comes in, gets dropped in. That's all. Take all that stuff, put that all up in there. Yeah. This is just basically like my I'm building storage, but sometimes I need to get stuff dumped out. Gonna take that because I do actually need to at least light up this sign so I can get back to it later. Remember, I was gonna do something with it before I wax it because I might rewrite this one. I'm not sure, but yeah, like I got in here, I go through and I think about what I first want. Um, My funnest playthrough of Minecraft was when I first didn't know anything, but I got to a town and I ran into a cleric and I saw that he bought zombie flesh and I had some to sell him. And then I was able to buy redstone from him. And I just made little base defenses and redstone contraptions around the village, and that was the funnest thing in the world for me. Been playing Minecraft more or less since that's like that since, learning all the secrets of the villagers. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'll make another one soon.